Hello everyone, welcome to Code is Good. Today we'll discuss about recursion, which is a very confusing algorithm when it comes to its working. We'll try to simplify it and see a mental picture of how this recursion will behave. And before we move on to learning what is recursion, we'll, we'll see through an example of factorial that how factorial problem can be easily solved using recursion. So first, let's see how factorial of a number works. So as we all know that if we have to calculate the factorial of 0, then it is 1. If we have to calculate the factorial of 1, then it is 1. If it is to be calculated for a factorial of 2, then it's 2 into 1. If it has to be factorial of 3, then it will be 3 into 2 into 1. Here, if we add another, if we multiply 1 to each of the factorial of 1, 2, 3 and respective numbers following it, then it won't make any difference since it is a multiplication. If we try to simplify it, then it will look something like this. 1 into 0 factorial. Factorial of 2 will look like 2 into 1 into 0 factorial. This can be simplified as 3 into 2 into 1 into 0 factorial. If we further simplify it, it will look like this. That 0 factorial cannot be broken down even further, so it will remain to 1. And 1 factorial will be 1 into 0 factorial. 2 factorial will be 2 into 1 factorial, and so on. If we come to the n number, then n factorial will be n into n minus 1 factorial. If we observe this pattern, we see that whatever number factorial we have to calculate, that comes at the first place and followed by multiplied of its n minus 1 factorial in each of the example that we have seen here. So here, if we have to calculate the n factorial, then we'll just think that if we happen to calculate the factorial of 3 over here, then it will be 3 into 2 factorial. Then 2 factorial will be replaced by 2 into 1 factorial. 1 factorial will be replaced by 1 into 0 factorial. 0 factorial will be replaced by 1. So in this way, we have reached to the final digit that we want, and it can be soon replaced. Now we'll try to fit this understanding into recursion and see how it works. Just some time back, we had seen how the recursion of factorial was calling itself. So basically, this recursion, it means that, or it is a scenario where a method, they call itself. And since it is a recursion, so every time a recursive function will be called, it will add that recursion function to the call stack of the class. So since it is going to be added over the class stack one after the other, then we need to find a break condition on which it will stop the recursion. In the previous example, we had seen the occurrence of factorial of 0, which gave us 1, and from that we happen to come down. If we will not give any break condition, then we'll land up having an error of stack overflow error, which is nothing but these stacks, the recursion stacks that has piled up over the call stack. If we calculate the factorial of a number using recursion, then we will refer to the to the example that we saw in the previous slide over here, which is like, I'll just write it over here, that 0 factorial was 1, 1 factorial was 1 into 0 factorial, 2 factorial is equals to 2 into 1 factorial, 3 factorial is equals to 3 into 2 factorial. So considering this code of factorial, how it will behave, like suppose if we have to calculate the factorial of number 3. So from the main or any driver method or class, we will pass 3 to this function and we'll see how it will work. So firstly, we'll check about the break condition. And this is our break condition, that if the number is 0, then we'll return 1. Number is equals to 0 means it's this condition, the factorial of 0. So what will happen? Firstly, I will draw the class tag also over here. That firstly, a factorial of with number 3 has come. It's seen that it's not equal to 0, so it will go back to the return, and here it will do number into, so over the stack it will do number into a factorial of n minus 1, which is 2, and we'll call back to the same method with argument as 2 in num. So over here in the num, it will be 2. So again, it will this condition will not be satisfied, which evaluates it comparing to 0. So it will come down and num will be 2 over here. So 2 into factorial of n minus 1, number minus 1. So it will be factorial of 1. And again, it will call the same function again with argument as 1. So it will be coming over here. It will check whether number is equal to 0 or not. It is not 0. So it will come down over here. It will print, it will come to the stack and write 1 into factorial of num minus 1, which is 0. And then call the same function again with argument as 0. And in this case, it matches this condition, which says num is equal to 0. So it will return 1. And since 1 has been returned from the stack, so it will fill this position as 1. So it will give the output as 1 into 1 as 1. Then again, it will come back to satisfy this function, which will say 2 into factorial of 1, which is 1. Then again, it will come down and will substitute the value of factorial 2 over here, and num is 3 over here. 3 into factorial of 2 is 2, and this will be filled to the factorial of 3. Hence, if we do a multiplication of it, it will become 6, and 6 will be finally returned from here. So as you saw that in few lines of code, we were able to calculate the factorial. Here actually in recursion, we basically should have a mental picture like this, that whenever a method is being called recursively, then we should be drawing its or pushing its recursive method calls into the call stack. Here we were adding factorial of 3, then factorial of 2, then factorial of 1, and so on. So this was an overall discussion about recursion. We'll now see that when why we should use recursion, and when we already had the solution of an iterative approach, then why we shifted to recursion. Recursion, I mean, it has only one benefit, that it looks simpler and it's easy to maintain. When it comes to the performance comparison, then iteration process that runs faster and consumes less memory compared to the recursion, because it consumes less memory, because recursion has the overhead of moving the recursive calls into the call stack that we had seen earlier, which like over the call stack, it's adding various recursion functions over it. And since each of the recursion function frame, it consumes some memory, so it gives an overhead of memory on recursion. Recursion is used only because it saves the number of lines and makes the code look elegant. This is the benefit, because in future when uh, code maintenance has to be done, it looks simpler to maintain. There are two types of recursion. The first is head and the other is tail. Whenever, here I have placed a simple example that whenever we are uh, placing the recursion function before the before any of the working, then it's called head recursion. And if the recursion is happening at the very end of the program, then it's called tail recursion. As you can see that some work like printing to the console we are doing prior to the recursion. Tail recursion also helps us in overcoming stack overflow error. Suppose if we miss out the break condition in any of the code, any of the recursion code, then we'll of course land into stack overflow error. And tail recursion can help us break through that. We should also understand that in Java, the Java compiler does not use tail recursion. So tail recursion should be avoided, and we should be working mostly with head recursion. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions or queries, then please comment it out, and subscribe to Code is Good. Thank you.